speaking with Alderman Sherwood Bradford about the Moss Point city budget. Alderman Bradford, how much is the annual budget and where does that money come from?
Last year we had a budget right around about $18.2 million, and the money comes from two kind of different sources. We have our Avalon taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, different type of tax. We call that the general fund. Then we have the utilities, where we provide service at a cost. Any other activities that we charge, that is your enterprise fund. So the money comes from taxes and services that we provide, right? Utilities, building permits, and et cetera. So anything that could cost you, fees, any type of fees you may think of, that's where the money accumulates from.
And are those funds kept separate?
The enterprise fund should always be separate from the general fund. That's probably having now. The general fund is used for certain service, and so is the enterprise fund. So they should never be together. They are always separate, and that's a accounting process that we is asked by the state and the city government budgeting, that enterprise and general funds are two separate funds, two separate budgets.
So can you give us an idea of the relative size? Is one of them much bigger than the other or about the same size?
The general fund is the biggest. The general fund is our largest budget because it's your taxes, your annual property taxes. Most of your money goes into the general fund. Utilities is based on, it fluctuates based on, water uses and building permits and et cetera. So the general fund is more consistent, and it's always the largest.
Okay, so speaking of the budget, how is that money spent? Where does the money go that the city brings in?
The largest part of our budget goes to police and fire. Those are your two largest departments. I think they're both well over $1 million a year. And then you got salaries, and most of our budget goes back into salaries. So, and then you have, other things that we have to pay for, loans. We have, quite natural, we have bills ourselves. And then we have to have every once in a while, unfortunately, we have lawsuits. So the money goes a lot of different places, but you got to keep in mind that you can only spend general fund a certain way and enterprise a certain way.
So what's the process for developing the city's budget?
The process for developing the budget depends on the leadership. Now, the proper way I always thought was to, every department head should put together a wish list, what they want for their department the upcoming year. They bring it to the Board of Aldermen, and we go over it knowing what our projected budget would be. And we either fulfill their wish list or deny it. So when they bring it to us, we goes over it. If it's within our projected budget, we can approve the budget. But in the other part of the process should be public hearings. We should have public hearings on the budget before we pass it. The public should be aware of what we're projecting that we're going to bring in. They should have input on the spending. Like you may have somebody come in and say, look, that's not enough money for recreation. That is the public hearing. That's their right. I think the public has really been left out the process. And a lot of times that's what caused a lot of the confusion. They don't know what the budget is. They don't know where the budget is going. So if you you can put on Facebook website that we have a public hearing. Very few folks will see it. It should be in the weekly paper. It should be well publicized, And my suggestion is, one thing we all get every month from the city is what? A water bill. We should put a note in the water bill that we're having public hearings on different departments, and that give them opportunity to come down. That is your one chance to have your input on the budget. It's called transparency, and I think that's one area that we really need improving. I think the more the citizens know, the less confusion we're gonna have in this community.
What changes would you make in the city's budget if you're elected as mayor?
The changes that I would make, like I just spoke on, I would make sure that the community is aware of the budget. And one thing we can do is try to create more businesses, that the sales tax will be larger. You can't control that, but a great economic development program will improve your budget. And we don't have to create small businesses to create the budget. And the only other thing that, this is the format that should be used. The only other thing that is very important is I want everyone to understand that a budget is just what it is. We have to stay within that budget, but there are certain times during the year, I think twice a year, we can amend the budget. And even when we amend the budget, we should have public notification that we're making changes in this budget, that some things have come up, and amending the budget is not illegal or underhanded. Sometimes it's just necessary after 4 or 5 months. We're not spending as much money on this, so we want to move some to this, and that's good managing, that's good administrative work. But still, inform your citizens that we're taking from recreation because the programs are not growing as fast. And let everybody know when changes are being made.
A lot of people are talking about a forensic audit. Can you explain what is a forensic audit and why do you believe the city needs one?
As you might know, I've been pushing forensic audit. And this is nothing that you should have every year. A forensic audit, it should be very rarely used. But the reason I'm pushing the forensic audit because the inconsistency that we have had in the finance department. We have had 4 finance directors in 4 years. We've had 2 city clerks. Now, unfortunately, we've had 2 mayors. So there's a lot of different people that have touched the budget. And anytime you change a finance director, she have her way or he have his way, how he do things. And the main reason is, you were talking about the general fund and the enterprise fund. Somewhere around 2018, those budgets, general fund and the enterprise fund, was put together. And we don't know which one is the largest now. We don't know what's in what. So, and it's hard to get them separated without really going through it in a forensic way. Looking into it detail by detail. A regular audit would not do that. Let me tell you, it may be simple for me to tell you what's the difference between a regular audit and a forensic audit. A regular audit, the auditors come in on an annual basis, collect information from the staff, write up any deficiencies we may have. A forensic audit is more of an investigation. They come in, they tell you exactly what they need to see, they demand it, and they write it up. And it's not to get anybody in trouble, it's to make sure that the community is financially sound and everything has been properly documented and done. And after a forensic audit, it's like starting over. It's like starting, okay, we all know where everything's at. It's a fresh start. And I think it's going to be fair to the next administration. We cannot continue to go down this road where nobody really knows what has happened. Accountability is important, and a forensic audit is almost a no nonsense thing. It should happen, and I'm hoping that it does happen.
Is there anything else that people need to know about the city's budget?
I want you to know that the city budget has to get bigger. And the way you get bigger, we're going to have to build homes. We're going to have to build a bigger tax base. we're gonna have to create more small businesses. We can't wait till the big companies come. We got to build retail stores. We got to get out, create some mom and pop stores. We got to bring young folks back home to build their grandparents' home. And reestablish their land. And we have a lot of vacant lots, as we said before, often. Come back home, and tax dollars is what increase your budget. So the only thing I see now is we have to come up with ways to make our budget bigger. And the bigger your budget, the more programs you can have. You know, a lot of folks say, well, what happened to recreation? Well, we depend primarily on county dollars. We have to create a budget that we can match county dollars. If the county give us $150,000, we can match it with $150,000. That's $300,000 for recreation. Then we are into growth. And so I'm looking forward to creating things that make our budget bigger. That's one thing I want to see done in the budget, create a bigger budget.
Anything else?
No, I just thank you and for listening. And on April the 6th, I'm asking you to support this campaign, Sherwood Bradford for mayor. Thank you.